Thank you for stopping by here at Comic Rhema Records. This is continuing the series going through the alphabet. Thank you for stopping by here. I want to welcome all the new subscribers, new friends who have been joining our channel as we go through sharing records and many things that we love. For the new friends who are joining us on this episode, we are doing a series called Going Through the Alphabet, where we are going through different albums in our collection. For me specifically, albums that have really resonated with me spiritually. And the band we are talking about today is Kristyl. This is the front cover of this album, and here is the back cover where we have the band members. We have Sonny Vore on lead guitar, Bob Terrell on rhythm guitar, on bass there's David Atherton, and on drums you have Bruce Whiteside. Later on, after this album was released, a couple of individuals in the band were replaced, and they had a new drummer named Mike replacing Bruce Whiteside, and Atherton later rejoined the band as a new spot as a lead singer. And Kristyl became a band called Spare Change. So let's talk a little bit about this band. How did I find out about this band? I was on the search for this record for a long time. If you remember, in a few episodes, I talked about the book about Jesus music albums, written by Ken Scott. This was one of the albums on there. However, I had found out about this band through other resources. This band is labeled Christian psychedelic rock, but the music on here and the lyrics are not, it's not worship music, and it's not Christian theology in the lyrics. Here's a little sample of what you might listen to in this album. I hope you enjoyed that clip. And this is Kristyl, and the cover I think it's just a remarkable, really great cover, and it just speaks volumes in its simplicity with the world being devoured by this big snake. Once again, it's not a totally Christian band. Some of the members were Christian in the band, and it has been labeled Christian psychedelic rock. I did do a video on Christian psychedelic rock. I'm going to drop the link down below if you want to learn a little bit more about that, and I'll be doing a part 2 pretty soon. So let's talk a little bit about the origins of the band. The origins start back from 1972, where Sonny Vore and rhythm guitarist Bob Terrell, so these two guys here were pretty much the start of the band, and then you had these two individuals join on bass and drums. So they were together playing in high school, and around 1974, 2 years later, these guys were added to the roster, and they produced this album, and we're playing in Louisville, Kentucky. And every time I think about this record, I think about David Newton, who's from Kentucky for some reason. So David, shout out to you if you're listening to this video. This guy's kept on playing, random shows, playing in bars, playing different gigs. And around 1975, is when this album was pressed. It wasn't a huge project. It was mostly self-produced by the guitarist. And, you know, they had major influences of the rock of the time, Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd. So they had that sound. It was thought before that there were only 200 pressings were pressed. It was actually 500 pressings were pressed. And some information that I found out is that most of the albums were thrown out by the band. So some were sold and some were given to friends, and the rest were thrown out. So some copies, original copies, go for lots of money. I just recently looked up on Discogs, and an original copy is going for $300. One of the questions that followed this band was if they were actually a Christian band. So some mysteries or kind of questions were surrounded around this band. And then other things also surrounded to kind of like the mysterious aura of this band, or contradiction, some people might say, is the type of sound that they were producing, their religiously charged anti-drug lyrics as well. The pro-marijuana t-shirt, as you see this individual here, the drummer, wearing. And they're supposed to be a Christian band. So, you know, there was a lot of controversy and contradiction in it. Here's how Sonny Vore explains this mystery, or paradox, as he calls it. We weren't out trying to come off as a Christian band. I've been a Christian throughout my life and wrote many of the lyrics that display those influences. Bob Terrell came from a Catholic background, but the other band members weren't of any church background. Sometimes we'd be in a bar doing our songs, and I would wonder if anyone even realized the message being conveyed in the songs. And that's pretty much who the band was. This is a reissue from Garrison Records. I'm going to show you the label. This is what the label looks like. Garrison is this record company who's been producing and releasing lots of psychedelic Christian bands, or private press Christian bands from the 1970s. This is a great one that they released because this was a really hard one to get. If you're not familiar with Gerson, go ahead and check them out. It also comes with this information pamphlet. Comes and gives you a little bit of history on the band. You have the back cover and the front cover. I'm gonna drop some snippets of the songs that I really enjoy from this album, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you give this album a try. Definitely a great one to have and to be added to my collection. And it's probably one of the records that I would not part with. Thank you once again for stopping by here at Comic Rhema. I appreciate you guys. I'm hoping to do a few more videos. Big shout out to Mr. Finglish, who's doing this series with me. Thank you everyone for your encouraging comments. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, where we upload our playlists, anything that we're listening to currently and meditating on. Want to wish you guys a great week. I hope you've been in peace with yourself and in peace with everyone around you. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next one.